who I selected as the number 5 out of this top 10, and that's Jalen Hurts. Now, some people will probably say, man, you tripping. Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl. He done been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 seasons. He's a Super Bowl MVP. Why in the world would you put him at the number 5 spot? We have a tendency sometimes. We have a tendency of looking at quarterbacks and feeling like, oh, because they won a Super Bowl, then all of a sudden that just catapults them to the top and they should just jump everybody else. I don't look at it that way. Now, if what I'm seeing from a quarterback is just downright borderline elite, and I expect, this to happen for the next 10 to 12 years and multiple Super Bowls, then I would probably have a different form of energy. But I'm not one of those people that just believe just because you won a Super Bowl means that just makes you, top above the rest when it comes to, certain skill sets, ability, and whatever. Now, this isn't a shot at Jalen Hurts, but I take a look at the 4 other guys that are ahead of him on my top 10 list. If you put Patrick Mahomes on a Philadelphia Eagles team, do they still win that Super Bowl? If you put Josh Allen on that Philadelphia Eagles team, do they still win the Super Bowl? If you put Joe Burrow on that team, do they win a Super Bowl? What about Lamar Jackson? All I'm saying is I could put any one of these quarterbacks, I feel comfortable saying this. I could put all 4 of those quarterbacks on the Philadelphia Eagles team, and I feel like the result would have been the same. And that's not a knock on Jalen Hurts. He still had to do what he needed to do in order for them to win the Super Bowl. But I don't think that just because he won that Super Bowl, he's a better quarterback and has a better upside. And, we're going to be looking at him as the greatest quarterback of all time in the next 5 to 10 years. I just don't. I think that he has found himself a place, in the sun. And, people are going to respect him for that, which they should. But I do feel like these other quarterbacks are better. I do. I don't think that he's a system guy. I mean, some people are like, oh, man, he's a product of the system and all that. I think that the Eagles are a good football team. He has a lot to do with it. But, there are levels to this. And I just think that some of these guys that are above him are just a tad bit more on the elite side than him. Now, he is an elite quarterback. But I just think that these other quarterbacks that I'm about to talk about are just a tad bit more elite than Jalen Hurts. Last season, Jalen Hurts played in 15 games. He threw for 2,903 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And he had 630 rushing yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. So, this is a guy who can get into the end zone. We know about the tush push. We know that, this guy has, really good lower body strength. We know about him deadlifting 500 pounds and squatting 600. We know that this guy's a freak of nature. And, I expect for the Eagles to continue to thrive as long as he's a quarterback. But, I just think that, when it comes to the top 10, I think that, he's right there.